was just looking at the stall of Welspun, and Welspun, we all know they are a global leader in textiles, and last couple of years before they have acquired Sintex, who are famous for tanks, and now they are having two divisions. One is for these vehicle tanks, what they are manufacturing, as well as they have Syntex, which is the water tanks. Normally people don't see, but when we talk about Syntex tanks, people know.
See, the funny thing is Syntex was always a leader. And they were always innovative, and everyone knows Syntex because they introduced plastic tanks on the roof of our houses. But they also had a B2B vertical. And a lot of people don't know this, but Syntex was also influential in converting steel tanks for commercial vehicles into plastic tanks. So the team here had worked with the design centers of all these commercial vehicles, for example, Tata's, Volvo, Eicher, and they were very innovative in that. So moving steel tanks to plastic tanks, where you're making the commercial vehicle even more lighter.
Yes.
So better range, better mobility for the commercial vehicles. And continuing that heritage of innovation and moving forward, see, we realized that fuel is fuel, and we are a fuel storage system. So we realized that market is moving on, right? Moving from diesel to petrol to CNG to hydrogen also. So we realized that we have to move with times, if not step ahead of times. Either you step ahead or someone will step ahead of you and replace you. So that's where we also did JV opportunities with Italian partners. And we have the full range of Type 4 tanks. And we measure Type 4 tanks in power pressure. So amount of pressure that it can withhold. So we start with like our air tanks, which we are already selling to the likes of Tata's. So very, very lightweight. You can just lift it up. It's not even a dumbbell.
I'm having a frozen shoulder. But
very light. Very light. There's a steel rod to hold the tank. Very light.
And this goes in which?
So these are air tanks.
Tanks.
Yeah. So Volvo, Tata commercial cars for brake pedals. So the pressure. So that is one. Then next one is breathable tanks. So like in the likes of Europe, where you have firefighters, and then they'll have a big metal canister behind them for oxygen. So there they've replaced it with Type 4 tanks. Again, very light. You can move it. It's super light. So a firefighter doesn't have to carry a 30 kilo, 40 kilo metal tank. He can carry like a 7, 8, 9 kilo breathable tank.
And this is?
This is using glass fiber and carbon
manufactured
fiber.
here?
Will happen in India soon. In a year or two maximum. SOP is 2 years later, so we'll start our manufacturing very soon.
But this is for the firefighting.
This is firefighting, scuba diving, less pressure. Scuba diving also, because you don't want a metal tank, right? You want faster and all that. So we're going lighter. Then we come with our CNG tanks. So 1, 2, and 3 are our CNG tanks.
And this goes in the passenger as well as the commercial vehicles?
Yes. This can go anywhere. This can go in your auto rickshaw, it can go anywhere. So these are CNG vehicles. But the one thing I want to really focus on is this tank. So if you come here and you notice all Type 4 tanks are circular. This and that tank are square tanks. And we notice like in a lot of cars where trunk space goes. If you have a CNG tank, then you don't have trunk space. So we saw that need and we created, this is patented with us. So no one can, besides us, can manufacture in India.
In India.
But to save space, and because we have a square, so the edges take up volume.
So it goes basically inside maybe the seat. So you get a space for keeping the luggage.
And even as a tank, this tank is smaller than this tank. Same amount of liters. But because it's square, it's shorter, using less space. So in the car, it saves space for your luggage also.
So when we travel sometimes in Ola, Uber, most of the taxi cars are CNG, and we have really have trouble in keeping the luggage. So
so this is for that. So
people have started using this. Like
this is coming.
So it's a launch here in Bharat Mobility.
Yes, it's a launch. And our last one is our hydrogen tank. That we know is the future for commercial vehicles.
So see, we all talk about hydrogen. Somewhere at Hanover Messe before a year, when there was a question thrown there, and we were asking that is hydrogen real? Then that time, the speaker spoke one thing is that many of the large economies are not investing on research on hydrogen. There is some issues. But in India, I believe there is a lot of pressure, and I am able to see that you are already with a hydrogen tank.
Yeah.
So, what's happening?
So I'll be very honest. See, a lot of parts of the media talks, a lot of countries talk, and there's some countries that do it, which are a bit more evolved, like the likes of South Korea. They have hydrogen cars on the road. So it is not that the infrastructure is impossible. See, smaller countries where, let's say, the land bank is not so big, like in India, you need a lot of investment for hydrogen. Countries like South Korea, maybe where you don't need the amount of money, they've already done hydrogen. They have hydrogen cars on the road. And I personally have sat in a hydrogen car without knowing it was a hydrogen car till I went to the fuel station. And then I saw hydrogen. So we see the market is evolving. I think in commercial vehicles, like hydrogen has to be a must. One thing people talk about is battery versus hydrogen.
Yeah.
So you have to understand what are the benefits of two. So hydrogen gives you very high torque. That very high torque is required for heavy vehicles. So like your commercial vehicles requires a hydrogen. It cannot work on battery because battery then makes the vehicle heavy, less load. So it's not workable. One thing I'll also love to share is shipping vehicles. So a lot of shipping vehicles, and I can't name all of them, but are investing in hydrogen because they see green hydrogen as a source. What is happening is global companies are also doing carbon capture, right? Carbon footprints. So they want the most ethical way, the most beneficial way of tracking and shipment of materials. So they're focusing on green hydrogen. So a lot of ships, commercial ships, transportation ships will have hydrogen.
The hydrogen will be used more in the commercial and heavy vehicles
Yes.
rather than the passenger cars.
Yes, because passengers, you don't need that high torque and you can work with battery. It's an easier module to set up as well. Less investments when it comes to setting up the atmosphere, the environment for batteries easier than it is for hydrogen because hydrogen is a pressured vehicle, pressure sensitive.
Yeah, so my one more question is, we know that EVs are getting costlier because of the battery, lithium. We don't have that. It needs to come, whatever it may be. But I thought hydrogen will be much cheaper than EVs. But why hydrogen is becoming costlier? Because if hydrogen comes, maybe we don't have to depend upon outside countries.
They're working on that. So what is happening is the price of battery is falling. It used to be at $75 at one time. Now it's come to $25 from last time I checked. So that is happening. And then as we evolve, if you look at the likes of countries like Denmark, they are into mining. So they use the word in-city mining, which is once a battery enters the country, it cannot get outside. So an old EV car then just gets recycled, the battery gets recycled. So then they're not more dependent. I think as we, India, evolve, we'll also start going on in-city mining. So where we start recycling the battery and maybe are not so dependent on outside forces.
So it will take some time, but there is
The future is there.
I've seen also some very futuristic steerings. If you see this, it looks so
Beautiful.
nice.
So actually what we realized is aesthetics are very important and having safety components is a must. So one is beautiful aesthetics, haptic touches, but we realized at Welspun we have to deal with innovation. So whatever product we're looking at has to be the most innovative product in that department. So although it looks like a normal steering wheel, but there are two major pluses in this steering wheel. One is it is magnesium based. Most of our steering wheels right now are aluminium or metal, basic metals. When we have a trifold system, there a metal works. But as we get into more sleeker products and more evolved products, we realize that the bare component of that compound has to be stronger. So magnesium comes there because it's a more stronger compound. So when it comes to smaller, sleeker designs, magnesium has to play a role.
This one is basically not for our regular vehicles, right? This is for...
It can come.
It can come.
Why not? When we get into ADAS systems and we have self-driving cars, you don't want to drive, you just switch it off.
Okay.
So the likes of Tesla, see, this is a concept future product. But tomorrow, like how Tesla has self-driving cars, we'll get it in India. See, there's no 30 years back, who thought Indian roadways would be the way they are now, right? These are products that are there in leading countries like South Korea, where let's say you don't touch the steering wheel, it automatically detects you're not holding the steering wheel. So these are the future products that we want to be a part of and be associated with, because we see that India is a growing country and we want to be a part of the growing nation.
One last question. Welspun being a leader in the textile sector, what kind of innovations we can expect to be brought into the automotive sector?
I think we're looking at recycling materials.
Okay.
Welspun is very strong. Welspun Living is one of the strongest companies in home textiles, in recycling, in sustainability, and that's what we look to bring. So Welspun Living, I believe, has the largest in-house water recycling plant in the world, and we want to draw inspiration from that. And we want to bring that, whether it's recycled plastics or whether it's recycled textile materials. I think the future is there. So I think that's what we'll draw for.
As I told you, I got inspired talking to you yesterday. And I'm sure the kind of talks we had, our viewers, maybe as these discussions was so insightful for all of you. But I would like to keep in touch with you,
Definitely.
Yash, and try talk more.
100%.
You travel a lot, as
Yes.
you told that, maybe those experiences can also help us, help our viewers. Thank you
Done.
very much.
Thank you so
all
much.
the very best.